Hi, it's Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Today we're going to talk about overcoming procrastination. So procrastination is so common for us. It's a way we avoid, it's a way we self-sabotage. It's really a big part of us being in that doorway. We see what we want to kind of achieve, what success is. We set our goals. We have these opportunities, these destinies put before us, and yet we're kind of stuck with our past holding us back. And procrastination is one of the most common ways we allow our past to hold us back, keep us in that doorway, and allowing our history to prevent our destiny. And so how do we overcome that? It's so common. So how do we get past it? Well, we look at that avoidance negative cycle, right? So we have a distressing thought, feeling, or belief. Oftentimes, especially with self-sabotage and procrastination, we're looking at fear of failure. We're looking at fear of really putting ourselves out there and not getting the external validation that we seek. And so when we have that distressing thought, feeling, or belief, we avoid it. And when we avoid it, we're getting short-term relief, long-term anxiety growth, long-term distressing feelings, long-term low motivation, implicit devaluing, and this lessened self-esteem, and a higher likelihood of more distressing feelings. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to interject in that. We want to sit with what the distressing feeling is. What is causing our procrastination? Are we distracting? Are we trying to overproduce in other ways so we get involved in other things instead of doing the thing that we need to? What's the distress? So we want to find and we want to sit and we want to be present for that distress. And the best way of being able to do that is by being mindful. Being mindful is the foundation to wellness. So the more grounded we are in the here and now, the more likely we are to be able to just sit and present with that distressing thought and feeling and be able to move past it. So when we sit with that distressing thought or feeling, then we are not avoiding. So now we're going the other way, right? We're finding more implicit value for ourselves. We're finding more motivation. And so what we would be doing to go the opposite direction, right? Because we want to get out of the negative cycle and start hitting a neutral or positive cycle. So we want to set small achievable goals. We want to do things like the Pomodoro Technique, which is a 15-20 minutes, set a timer and just agree to just get it done, get something done. Whether it's the big part of what we need to achieve or it's some very small, manageable, bite-sized piece that we can do in the here and now today. But we want to take control over our situation that is related to whatever that distressing feeling is. So we're sitting with the distressing feeling and then we're actively engaging in something that helps us to be connected to that distressing feeling and gives us more agency, because we have the distress because we feel like we have no agency. We feel like we have no control. And so we're doing something that takes back our control and keeps us in the here and now. That builds implicit value, that builds motivation, that gives us a big dopamine rush, right? We're writing a to-do list. What's the first thing you put on a to-do list? Make a to-do list. Check. Big dopamine. Every time you make that check on a to-do list, it's another dopamine grab. So now we're getting good dopamine grabs. We're building our and reinforcing a new neural network. We're lessening the long-term anxiety growth, and we're having long-term positive growth and impact and feeling like we are capable. And then we want to avoid less. We want to just start getting to the next thing and the next task and the next task. So looking at the negative cycle, when we interject and go the opposite, we see that all it takes is one action plan, one thing that we say, I choose to do this. You can go back and read or listen to color blocking. That's a really good way to start finding accountability and removing procrastination by doing one thing that gets us closer to some of those bigger goals that we don't want to do. You can look at Pomodoro Technique and look at how I describe the Pomodoro Technique, and I'll put those links in below. But what we're trying to do is go backwards. So learn about the negative cycle and then do the opposite action. Get into one thing that gives you agency and control over what is distressing you, and be mindful and grounded by staying present in the here and now. I'm Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Thank you so much. And again, if you like this, please subscribe. Please hit the like button and share with others so that they can also overcome this awful deficit that we have of procrastination.